about communication, decision making, influence, and task and maintenance we will be talking today. These are the group roles. So I mentioned that day that whenever people uh, are discussing in a group anything, then for effectiveness of the team or the group, two types of roles are essential. These two types of roles have been described here under task function and maintenance function. Uh, this is not that individual people are assigned these roles. In a good or in an effective team, people basically, the group members, they keep on performing these roles according to the needs. And who determine the needs? The group members only. Yes, there is a possibility that one member may be overplaying a particular role and underplaying another role which is very, very essential. So we are going to discuss here these roles under these two functions, task functions and relationship functions. Behaviors that are concerned with getting the job done, that is the task function. Because any team or any group is constituted for accomplishing some task. So one of the major functions of the team members or the group is that the task is completed during the specified time and in a effective manner. So all those behaviors that are concerned with getting the task done, they fall under task functions. Are suggestions sought by members to solve problem or proceed ahead? Does any member attempt to summarize what has been covered or going on in the group? These are the different roles. We are having a separate tool you have all filled up, that is group role inventory. So when we will be talking about that inventory, group role inventory, we will be talking about specific roles, that what are the most important roles under task function and maintenance functions. But here we are only talking about the different things people do under the task function. So one was, are suggestions sought by members to solve problem or proceed ahead? If people are asking for some suggestions, it means that person at that moment is playing some role, some task role. Does any member attempt to summarize what has been covered or going on in the group? Means summarizing. When somebody summarizes, then people who have got distorted, who have got basically who have not listened or who have got distorted. So those people will again come back on the task when things are summarized. Are members giving or asking for facts or ideas? Because facts and ideas are the raw material on which any decisions are taken in the group. So are members giving or asking for facts, ideas, opinions, feelings, feedback, or searching for alternatives. These type of activities help in the accomplishment of the task. Who keeps the group on target? Sometimes groups move away from target while discussing. So, is there anybody or is there somebody in the group who again brings that group back on the task or target? Who prevents topic jumping or going off on targets? This is sometimes very common in the groups that some people start knowingly or unknowingly, they indulge into topic jumping or going off the targets, means carrying out some discussion which is not helping the group to accomplish its task. So these are some of the activities which are held under the task functions. And all these activities are helpful for accomplishing the task. That's why they fall under task function. Now, maintenance function, the main aim of maintenance function is that the group should remain a cohesive group, a good group, a performing group. So for that, uh, some members keep on doing certain things periodically, and that is basically to maintain in a way the cohesiveness of the group, or the morale of the group, the motivation of the group. So this is maintenance functions are important for the morale of the group. They ensure effective teamwork within the group. For example, who helps others to get into discussions? They are called gatekeepers or gate openers. Means some persons who might be sitting, who might not be taking part in the discussion, either because somebody keeps on only speaking and the person is waiting for his or her turn, or person is not feeling very confident. So does anybody help these people to come into the discussions? Who cuts off others or interrupts them? Uh, this is sometimes dysfunctional in a group, sometimes it is functional also. Because if somebody is trying to monopolize the group, then this role, persons playing the role of gate closers, they cut off the communication of that person, and or interrupts them from speaking more. It can be functional at times, it can be dysfunctional also. How well are members getting their ideas across? Yes, are they doing it spontaneously, in a very smooth manner, in a friendly manner, or hostile manner? So these things matter. Are some members preoccupied and not listening? This is also a very common phenomenon in the group. And if some people are not listening, it means they have become disinterested, or they have been left out, or they are feeling that the group is not valuing them. So all these things affect the cohesiveness of the groups or teams. Are there adequate attempts by group members to clarify the ideas? Yes, some people put across some ideas in a very abstract form, or there are some members in the group who are not that knowledgeable enough. So, is there adequate attempt by some member of the group to clarify that their ideas so that everybody understands it in the right manner? How are ideas rejected? Are they rejected after some discussion or in a polite manner, or are they rejected simply by saying that rubbish, useless idea, wastage of time? So, what is the process? How the idea is rejected? How do members react when their ideas are rejected is very important, and um, it is this is one indicator which indicates, or one symptom which says that is the group going to remain cohesive in future or not. So how do members react when their ideas are rejected? A process aware person looks at these things also. So these are some of the aspects of maintenance functions, and the purpose is simply that the team, everybody thinks that he is a valuable member of the group, everybody feels included, everybody thinks that his ideas, her ideas are being listened to, and whenever agreements or disagreements are done, they are done in a polite and in a non-hostile manner. So these are some of the behaviors uh, under what I say, maintenance functions. So the task and maintenance functions, in short, whenever you are as a facilitator or as a group member, you are trying to observe what is happening in the group, your focus on task and maintenance function is essential. This is another dimension, feelings and emotional issues. Uh, Sometimes some facilitators say that basically under the process, feelings or emotions are the main thing, and all the group processes are either created by them or intensified by them. But I normally keep it as a separate dimension because these dimensions are very, very essential when we are trying to understand the functioning of a group or a team. So, feelings and emotional issues and their effects. The underlying emotional issues produce a variety of behavior which interfere with or are destructive of effective group functioning. The effective group will work, recognize what is going on, try to identify the issues, and they work with it in ways which permit the same emotional energies to be channeled in the direction of the group's effort. These are all English. What are these emotional issues and basic problems? So, what I try to say that whether you are facilitating a group or you are a member of the group, responsibility is both. Being a member doesn't mean that the how the group functions effectively becomes the responsibility of the facilitator. Actually, the team is that everybody is a facilitator. Everybody is aware and alive to the group procedures. So, what signs of feelings do you observe in a group member? Anger, irritation, frustration, warmth, affection, excitement, boredom, defensiveness, competitiveness, etc. There can be many other feelings, but these are some of the things which become very easily, visible or we experience in the team members. And here, all these factors, if you see, these factors basically affect the participation, involvement of the group member. And it doesn't affect only the person himself or herself who is having one or more of these feelings. Rather, if, say, for example, a person is in anger, then what happens? Others also will be affected by this. The task function may be affected by that. The maintenance function also may be affected by that. Accomplishment of task may be affected by that. So do you see any attempts by group members to block expression of feelings, particularly negative feelings? Actually, what we have experienced and we believe that blocking of feelings doesn't help. As a facilitator, most of the facilitators and me also, we are uh, it is our effort that people should express their feelings. Whatever they are experiencing, they should not withhold it for a long time. They should express it. But they should express it in a functional manner. Functional manner means people are able to know their feeling, but others are not adversely affected by the person's feelings. Say if some member is angry at the time, so there is no harm if the person himself or herself tells to the group, gentlemen, this statement makes me angry or has made me angry. There is nothing wrong into that. What maximum will happen? The person who is being accused or who is being attributed to the feeling of anger in another person, that person may ask, will you please tell me what in my statements, what made you angry? And then this person has an opportunity to say that the way you raised your fingers or the way you accused me or accused another person, that made me, or your tone of voice made me angry. So it is always the effort of the facilitator that the moment facilitator senses that somewhere people are blocking their emotions, effort is made to bring it out so that people understand not only the thoughts of the feeling, but also the thoughts of the person, but also the feelings of the person. How this is done? Does anyone do this consistently? There are some members who consistently try to block another person or their own feeling itself. वो चुप हो जाएंगे, बैठ जाएंगे, या कुछ displacement, feeling something else and express something else. Emotional issues, causes of self-oriented behaviors in the group. These emotional issues that affects everybody, and there are some issues, some causes and their effects which are visible in the groups. For example, it may happen that there is a problem of identity. Somebody is sitting in the group and uh, nobody is uh, asking anything from that person, or nobody is taking that person's opinion. When that person, for example, tries to speak, some people or many people, they don't pay attention to that. So in the mind of that person, this question may come that who am I in this group? Am I a bona fide member of this group, or people are finding me strangers? So where do I fit in this group, and what kind of behavior is acceptable here? I will give you just an example for a very clear understanding from my own life, not a formal meeting, that from engineering, from systems, industrial engineering and management systems, I had been transferred to this personal function or HR function. So I was an engineer there, and all the persons who were there, either they were simple graduates or they were professionals in the area of HR. So uh, I was basically not feeling comfortable in the group. Whenever there are some meetings, if I speak, either they will ignore or they will laugh, or sometimes they attack also. So sometimes when 4 5 persons are talking, and when I enter there, they stop the talking. Or I also realize sometimes that they are changing the topic. So it was happening and I was experiencing it. And one day, one thing what I was doing, that on 15th floor, these personal people were sitting, and on 13th floor, my group, where I was working for materials management system at that time, those persons were sitting with whom I had worked for about 2 years. So during the lunch time, every day I will go to those people, material people. I will have my lunch with them. One was that old affiliation. Second thing was that I was feeling more comfortable. So in one of the meetings, formal meetings when it was going on, and I shared, I told that I don't think you people consider me a part of this group. So somebody asked me that how can you say this? So I had some data, and that data I presented to them. On that, one person says that, okay, have you ever thought, do you consider us your group? I told, yes, I very well. I'm very proud that I'm here. This, he asked that, if you are so proud and you consider us part of, you consider yourself part of us, why every day at lunchtime you go downwards to have your lunch with them, right? And it was a good data. I thought, okay, logic says that how does it matter where do I take my lunch? But the fact was that I was not taking lunch with them. So I accepted it. And from the same day, I started having my lunch with them. And yes, that some change came there. So question is that these issues, if they are not expressed, they create misconceptions in the mind of the individual concerned also, or in the minds of other persons also. So when a person in the group is not treated the way the person wants to be treated, this question comes into mind, problem of identity. Who am I in this group? Where do I fit in? And what kind of behavior is acceptable here? Problem of goals and needs. What do I want from the group? Yes, if emotions are there, for example, I want that group member should talk to me politely. Uh, I should share it. Uh, group say, मैं क्या चाहता हूँ? That is my need. That may not be my goal, but that is my need. It can be my goal also that I want to be a cordial member of the group. Can the group goals be made consistent with my goals? Yes. Many times it happens when we are talking that a person has his own or her own goals and the group goal is different. So question is that when I am working in the group, should I pursue only my own group goals, my own goals, or should I pursue whatever is the goal of the group or team? And whenever the group process is good, effective, I think these goals, because it is very natural, these goals will be aligned. For example, in some goals, in these meetings, some persons go with individual goal. And what is that individual goal? That I have to show my supremacy. So that person's goal is to show his or her supremacy. And in order to pursue his or her goal, the person will be very cautious in whatever is speaking, or person's tone will be different, person's this thing will be different. So, for example, one person was there. It was not me, uh, whom I found every time whenever we are talking in the department. during the meeting, during the interactions, that person will very rarely share his ideas. But when the group is about to reach a consensus on something, at that time he will come out. Okay, gentlemen, I have a different opinion. I have this opinion. A different opinion you could have told in the beginning. But the fact is that that person wants to show perhaps his or her own supremacy, that his ideas, her ideas are different from other persons. It means what the person was doing, the person is not working for the group's goal, person is working more for his or her own goal. Yeah. Can the group goals be consistent with my goals? What have I to offer to the group? Yes, this is also question of problem, goals and needs. Should I need to offer something from the group, or only I have to take something from the group? Problem of power, control, and influence. This is one thing which brings it lot of functionality also and lot of dysfunctionality also in the group. Who will control? Who will control what we do? Control issue. Control issue is what? That the group should run. The group should make decision according to my wishes. Whatever I say, that should be accepted by everybody in the group. So how much power and influence I have? This power and influence remains a very important thing whenever we are talking about group procedures. Problems of intimacy. How close will we sit to each other? How personal? How much can we trust each other? How can we achieve a greater level of trust? Problems of intimacy also. And in this also people differ. There are few persons, one persons, two persons in every team who wants to be intimate, close to many people or most of the people in the group. Whereas some people will always maintain a safe distance. So, who are the people in this category? Who are the people who are exhibiting that sort of behavior? And what is the impact? What is the impact of this type of intimacy behaviors uh, with the groups task functions and groups relationship functions? Dependency and counter dependency. I think all of us understand that dependency is that I'm basically dependent on somebody, means somebody gives an idea and I have to support it. Reasons may be many. Reasons may be the self inadequacy. If a person feels that I am inadequate, then the person will not participate in the discussions. And if somebody says the person who him considers that he is more powerful or he is more knowledgeable, then the person will basically depend on that person. You know what? Very interesting thing. Uh, when I was with Heavy Engineering Ranchi association, old officer association was there, but we formed another association that is called Engineers Association, and the two associations were at loggerheads. So whenever there was a meeting um, in this association, with that association, we were part of the officers association earlier. Later, we brought out our own association. So one friend of mine, he was age-wise, he was senior to me. I was simply BTech at that time. He was MTech, but he was my batchmate. We had joined together. A very bold person. But what he will say after a few meetings, he will say, कि भाई, I get confused in the meetings whether I should support this side or I should support that side. He had made some blunders. So we gave him the feedback कि तू कब क्या बोलेगा समझ में आता नहीं है. तो बोला कि yes, really I agree, I get confused. And he was our man basically. I became president, he became vice president later on. So उसने क्या बोला कि जब डिस्कशन हो तो यू टच योर ईयर्स, राइट, अपनी दाहिने कान को तुम छूना एक दो बार, तब मैं समझ जाऊंगा कि सपोर्ट करना है तुमको, और जब दूसरा आदमी बोल रहा है उसको अपोज करना है, देन यू टच योर लेफ्ट हैंड. और ये अरेंजमेंट काफी दिनों तक बहुत बढ़िया से चला. सो क्वेश्चन इज दैट कि दिस डिपेंडेंसी इज देयर. सम मेंबर्स बाय नेचर they are dependent and some are counter dependent. What is dependent? Actually, three types of simple dependency is there. One is that ki dependent, one person is dependent on another person, considers that person more powerful or more knowledgeable, so that person is dependent on that person. This is dependency relationship. Another is independent. Independent means, no, I am independent. I have my own ideas, my own opinions. I am not going to be influenced by anybody. I will not be depending on anybody. मेरे मन में जो आएगा वो मैं कहूंगा, मुझे जो एग्री करना होगा करूंगा, नहीं करूंगा. So that is independent. The third type of relationship is interdependence. What is interdependence? Mutual dependence. I am dependent on the other persons, or they are also perhaps dependent on me. Means when somebody tells something which is factual, which is, which I appreciate, which is right, which is correct, I will support that person. And when I will say something, that person will also support me. Not as an agreement, बल्कि ये quality based, merit based. So this type of this thing is interdependence. जब जरूरत है तो मैंने हेल्प किया, जब जरूरत है the other person also helped me. So this is in interdependence. Interdependence means ये पता है कि we are not independent. In a group, in a team, in an organization, in a family, one person is dependent on the other person and behaving accordingly. But what is this counter dependency? Who will tell me? Anybody? Counter dependent?
Sir, just to, sir, am I audible?
Yeah.
Yeah, just to maybe to highlight oneself, you will unnecessarily contradict and not go with agreement, and you want to state your own viewpoint.
Okay. So is it not independent?
It might to some extent.
To some extent, okay. You have made a very good attempt. You are very near to what is my concept of counter dependency. Will anybody else try to come more closer to the meaning of counter dependency? Anybody else?
So maybe counter dependency could be defined as the antithesis of dependency, that you are trying to show that you are not dependent on of anyone. Independent, it is something similar to independent, but independent guy does not have to constantly show it and keep reminding others. Counter dependent that he is trying to portray and trying to show that he is independent of the other guy, and that may become detrimental to the group actually.
Yeah, partly I think both of you are partly correct. Actually, counter dependency is something, when a person is independent, the other person doesn't matter. Simply the person thinks like that and he is or she is expressing it openly or forcefully or whatever it is. But counter dependency is that ki I am behaving, if I am a person having counter dependency, then I will behave contradictory to somebody who is doing something or say something. For example, my behavior may be counter-dependency behavior with respect to a particular person or even with respect to the leader, a facilitator.
Yes, sir.
Whatever that person says, yeah, please.
Yes, sir. I think, is it similar, sir, when in a group one person speak, the person that would always speak after that person?
That will always speak contrary to what that person has spoken.
Okay.
जैसे एक बार क्या हुआ कि again example of my Ranchi job. Those days very frequently because of Jayaprakash Narayan's Andolan, every day there will be some Jindabad, Murdabad, this, that. So many times officers will not reach office or they will not come in time. So my boss was very strict boss. So one day he called a meeting and he told that, gentlemen, from tomorrow office opens at 8 o'clock. So if by 8:05 you are not in the office, action will be taken against you. So those persons who were coming in time or even before 5 minutes to 8, some of them felt very bad that day. Next day, as per the habit, punctual or non-punctual is a habit. So few of us, two of us, I will say, three of us, we used to come together and we will be coming 5 minutes before time usually. But the way that person spoke that day, we felt very bad. So we also reached that day also at 7:55. But what we did, we kept on wandering here and there in the headquarters and unnecessarily going to the pan shop. Pan bhi nahi khate the regularly. So pan shop and having some pan so that we will enter office at 8:10, not even 8:05, after 8:05. And the thing was that कि मैं रोज टाइम पे आता हूं और फिर उन्होंने मेरे को क्यों कहा कि जो नहीं आएगा हम एक्शन लेंगे, अब हम लेट आके देखते हैं कि वो क्या कर लेते हैं. So this type of behaviors are counter dependent. Some of us might be seeing with our children also. उनको बोलेंगे कि भाई चलो 7 बज गया है, go to your reading room or reading table. और जो काउंटर डिपेंडेंट चाइल्ड होगा वो 7 बजे नहीं जाएगा, वो 10 मिनट इधर उधर घूमेगा, उसके बाद जाएगा वहां पे. So basically this is one behavior which is countering somebody, either the leader, facilitator, powerful person or anybody else. So this behavior is that if you say that person that 5 steps towards east, that person will go few steps towards west. That sort of behavior. So opposing or resisting anyone in the group who represents authority, fighting and controlling, asserting personal dominance, attempting to get own way regardless of others. And this type of things, fighting, controlling, these type of things are very common. Sometimes these things happen in a very subtle manner and sometimes very openly. Withdrawing, trying to remove the source of uncomfortable feelings by psychologically leaving the group. Yes, some meeting is going on and say, for example, I don't like the topic or I don't like the way the person is speaking. So what will I say? अरे यार जाने दो, इनको डिस्कस करने दो, हमको क्या मतलब है. So I will withdraw. Pairing up. This also happens. Seeking
I
out
just want
one.
to ask, sir, interdependency is then the desirable attribute?
Interdependency.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think my understanding is that uh, any social life, not only our organizational life, my personal understanding is that this interdependency is the desired type of relationships.
Okay, thank you, sir.
है ना? Whether and whenever it has been, uh, I think I have been more effective, or my team has been more effective in interdependency. Simply this feeling itself in the team members, that if I am dependent on my boss for certain things, my boss is also dependent on me for certain things. And if this feeling comes from both sides, say in the home with the children themselves, है ना, अगर मुझे या the child also can satisfy my need of all these things, कि I am dependent on the child and the child is dependent on me, particularly in the affection matters. So that is most desirable according to me out of all these relationships in general. Yes, in special situations, the other things also can be useful. जैसे बहुत रूथलेस बॉस के साथ काम करना है, और person doesn't like your independence, your autonomy and all, and one has to survive, one has tried this way or that way, I think the only way is to at least make that person feel that you are depending on him. And जैसे that person knows that you are depending on him or her, I think that person's behavior also towards you changes. Particularly ego. Very often it happens. A subordinate, for example, a subordinate can be more knowledgeable than the boss. And many of the bosses are not able to digest it, that the subordinate is more knowledgeable. So what will they do? They will unnecessarily put many restrictions on this person. और वो restriction रखेगा इसलिए कि उसको शो करने के लिए कि भाई you can't survive without me. And there what happens? If the person knows that person is dependent, what happens? I was working under a boss who was very friendly with me earlier. But due to some misunderstandings, he not only stopped liking me, he started disliking me. So any of my proposal goes, either he will sit over it, or he will find out some spelling mistakes or some factual mistakes and will return it. I was becoming a trainer. Just it had started. So some organizations within the organization or outside the organization, they will call me for some sessions. I was working in the public sector. My earlier bosses have been very liberal. So if, say, for example, I get that, okay, 3-hour session is there at this institute on this day, kindly invitation if I get, I will simply write on that may kindly be permitted. So it will go to my boss, and my boss will 100% times he will write allowed. Some bosses will say it's good that you are going outside and you are giving some knowledge there, and you are bringing also some knowledge from there, and that person will praise me also. But this person, when relationship went very bad, I started discouraging people from calling me, but sometimes they will call. So once they called, and I wanted to go. Two options were there. I can take leave and go. But in public sector, conduct discipline and appeal rules, by taking leave if you are working somewhere else, that is a bad conduct. So I, like previous times, I wrote, may kindly be allowed. Boss did not say you don't go, but he wrote on that in future, don't commit without my permission. So it was a very clear signal that you don't go. I felt very bad. Many persons I told कि नहीं मैं नहीं आ सकता, I don't have time. But again, after some time, I thought that okay, this is totally blocking me. So one invitation I came, and no, not came. Yes, and I told that fellow that you don't invite me, you invite my boss. So he told me, but will he be able to do? हमने बोला कि एक बार देख लेने में क्या हर्ज है, आप उनको बुलाओ. So that person invited him, that we are having a session on 3-hour session on team building, and we shall be very happy if you kindly accept our invitation. So that person got that, and that person wrote on that invitation, can we do together? Again, it came back to me. But his power need was satisfied that way. So I went to him and I told, if you think I should come, I will come. Otherwise, you go and do that. I will give you material. He's telling you, no, we'll go. And basically, what happened, this one intervention made him understand that he is powerful, I am less powerful. Later on, I don't think he created any problem. So in this team, basically, or groups, whether it is for the same organization or it is a team or group of people where many times it happens that people from different organizations come and they have a meeting, they have a discussion, they have a project. So there also this type of things happens. Yeah, response to authority, dependency, look to others to tell them what to do. Some persons like that, ki subordinate, even if the subordinate knows the answer, subordinate should go to the boss and ask. And even if there is a meeting, the person can say that, okay, this is the best way, but he will ask his boss, sir, will you please tell what we should do? That person's this need is satisfied. Counter dependency, I think regis the authority, I have talked about it. Interdependence, autonomy and freedom, both parties are having. And interdependency is also mutual dependence and all these things. Fight and flight. This happens in the groups, teams many times. When some discussions come, some persons oppose it, fight. But when they fight, they think that the fight is very severe. Or the other person, if I fight, if I, confront, that person will feel bad. So the person takes a flight. वो या तो कुछ और लाके सब्जेक्ट दे देगा या चुप हो जाएगा, ठीक है साहब जो आप कह रहे हैं वही करेंगे. Defense mechanisms, all of us understand that there are different types of defense mechanisms, and one of the biggest problems in group processes or team processes is our defense mechanism. Means we are basically not agreeing to something. We are defending what we are telling. So these defense mechanisms are employed by individuals to reduce or overcome anxiety. There are many types of these. Some of these things come out very openly. Displacement, if subordinate is annoyed by his boss, punishes his own subordinate, yes, displacement हो गया. अपने डांट पड़ी है तो दूसरे को आगे डांटेगा. Repression, unacceptable desire of impulses. I think we can read it ourselves. regression, reversion to an earlier mental position, overreaction, projection. So many defense mechanisms are there. And I think if I start talking, it will take a lot of time, although it is there, some of them is there. What I'm telling that when you are giving feedback to somebody, or when you are receiving feedback from somebody, you can experience your defense mechanisms or others' defense mechanisms very, very clearly. Defense mechanisms prevents us from accepting what other person is telling, and we have a number of defense mechanisms. This is very, I think, natural inside all of us. And when we are talking about group processes, uh, we should have that insight to understand these defenses or defense mechanisms inside the people. Creativity and experimentation, teams should be occasionally prepared to go beyond. I have talked about that when new ideas, unconventional ideas are freely exchanged in the group, or these ideas are evaluated also after sorting out which is a better one, we say that there is lot of experimentation and lot of creativity is going on inside group. But when there is some sort of a blockage to this type of things, कि नहीं नहीं ये रूल में नहीं है, नहीं नहीं you are wondering, अरे यार ये मजाक की जगह नहीं है, seriously बोलो, it means people are basically trying to use their left brain type of thinking, not their right brain type of thinking or creative thinking. And this basically blocks the effectiveness of the groups. Yeah, group atmosphere and all these things are there. Yes, hostile atmosphere, cordial atmosphere, all these things are result of so many other things. So these type of things help us in a group. Yeah, I'll give you a handout. Norms, yes. Norms are standard or ground rules developed in the group that control the behavior of members. Norms facilitating the group progress. Some norms are there, some norms are inhibiting the group process. Are certain areas avoided in the group? That is this type of discussion, sex, religion, present feelings, discussing leaders, behaviors, etc. So norm is that whenever some hot topic comes or something controversial comes, the group basically bypasses that. Yes, sometimes it can be beneficial also, but usually this type of norms are not beneficial. Basically, whenever the openness should be the norm of the group. आप लोगों ने many of you might be knowing that Octapace culture, that is the contribution of Dr. Uday Parikh. What type of cultures are helpful in our type of organization in a democratic setup, Octapace culture. So those type of norms are very much helpful. Evaluation is one thing, although this evaluation has come in the task role, but periodically both task and maintenance aspects should be evaluated so that the group is able to fulfill its goal within the parameters like time, cost, and other things. This thing, okay, I think we can spend some. Yes, any questions up to so far? Group processes, I have also I have given an outline to you, the content and the process. It's very difficult to basically codify all the process inside the group. but the measurements I have tried to.
Sir, I have a question.
Please.
When we are talking of pairing up, for example, as a facilitator, when we see two participants or three participants have deliberately paired up, so how do we handle this type of a situation as a facilitator?
So this pairing up, maybe for the pairing up might be beneficial to the group also in certain times.
No, but as a facilitator, so for example, I'll take a very practical example. Okay. So we had this particular training program on sales. Okay.
Yeah.
Now, two participants paired up on a perspective which was very uncommon. Okay. While the trainer was talking of common things, right? They paired up saying that no, this thing doesn't happen in our type of a setup. This thing happens. And the topic which they were talking of was something which was not very common to the very common to what trainer was talking. So how do we, and both of them paired up and they were trying to hijack that trainer. Intentional effort was being made. So how do we deal with such type of situation had we been in the trainer's shoes?
It's very situation is typical sometimes. Sometimes formally also two trainers are working together and this type of pairing takes place even with the trainers. But one thing is that if it is happening in the group, one of the very, I think, potent ways is that to take the feedback of the group. Instead of
creatively, sir, if I also take an attempt to answer this question, very interesting and practical issue, sir.
Sure.
Maybe like in a conversation, if it is there, two people are coming, so one after the next, so you deliberately ask the third person to give his comment in between, so that pairing influence gets diluted. And moreover, the pairing, they are trying to influence. So if we increase the circles, reduce the circle of influence of that pair by taking more views of other people formally, then the circle of concern will be lower down and influence will be higher for our interest. Yes. I think this can be a little innovative idea which at the mind struck me.
This is very, I think, very effective thing, what you are telling. Basically, we have to block that sort of pairing behavior. And for blocking one of these things, what you told, one is that asking for somebody else's opinion, or this will work very well. What I was telling, that sometimes when this thing is happening repeatedly in the group, other members also in the group might be feeling it, might have noticed it. So yes. One thing is that if I put one question, gentlemen, what is happening in the group right now? Those persons will also understand that what is happening, this person is asking, is it pointed towards us? Or some other person can say that, sir, I see, two persons are unnecessarily supporting each other, or this thing is other. He may not use the word pairing, but this happens. So there are many ways. One way is that taking the feedback of the group. The moment I say, where is the group going, or where are you, this process gets blocked. The other thing is that others get an opportunity of saying. And I have also seen with this intervention that again this pairing takes place. When I'm telling what is happening in the group, they are also the same pairing, answers start coming. At that time, the facilitator can use what ma'am is telling, asking from somebody else, okay, you tell me what did you observe, or even giving them a direct feedback sometimes. Is it helping you to speak together or speak for each other? Direct. I am a very blunt facilitator. I had been, now I'm not that blunt. Straight away asking them head on. And this works. I had two trainers at my institute.
Even sir, humor can be another tool. Probably हंसते हुए ये जोड़ी अच्छी जम रही है. That way, a humor.
उस चीज को आपने वहीं पे डिफ्यूज कर दिया उसको.
Yeah.
yeah, diffuse kar diya, that helps. Or yeah, many creative ways can come out. But the question is that ki, if I am finding that pairing is happening either as a member of the group, as a facilitator, I must do something. है ना? And easiest thing for the, one of the easiest thing for the facilitator, where the facilitator doesn't have to make a remark, is using the group. Not using the group, utilizing the group. Asking from the group itself. कि ये क्या हो रहा है ग्रुप में, how are you feeling right now? Sometimes I take a stock of their feelings. Okay, gentlemen, will you please share your feelings of the moment? How are you feeling right now? और उसी में कोई आदमी बोल देगा कि I'm feeling very irritated because two persons are unnecessarily supporting each other or they are pairing up. Yeah. Sir, you have got some clue out of.
Yes, sir.
Huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So another thing which is something different from the
Our
topic.
intention in this case is that it has to be stopped, but in a functional manner. It should not hurt those persons, but they got a feeling, a feedback that yes, this type of behaviors of ours is being experienced by the group or observed by the group. Yes, sir. You are asking another question.
This is something not very much related to the topic. However, maybe after the session, if you feel that we have time, can be answered. So I lead the training function of 1200 people. Okay. So I had this experience in my recent interventions where we had 2 interventions continuously in a period of 3 months. Now there was one trainer who was very high on humor, right? He did the first level of the training. The second level of training was being done by some other trainer, and he was, not having. So his style of delivery was something very different. Now, what happened as a basic psychology of the participants? The participant went into the comparison mode. Okay.
Sure. Okay.
Now, how do we handle this? Because maybe a trainer might not be available every time, right? But the topics were covered. However, the style was very different, right? He was little mature. So with this type of audience, or because they were frontline audience, not very mature, the feedback in within half day was something that Mr. A was so good and Mr. B is not good. It's not that Mr. B was not good, but his style of delivery was very, very different from Mr. A. So people went into a comparative zone.
It's very natural. And I have myself experienced it, and I have been a victim also.
I being a training manager, I was having no. So either the option was to stop the training. Then I went up to the trainer and told him that you speak to your, although they were colleagues, so I told them that you speak to Mr. A and understand how he was able to manage the batch and try to modify your style. But then what I'm trying to say is that this is something very natural and very much basic thing which sometimes we feel as a challenge area.
Question is that what is the impact on the participants? Two persons are there, they have different styles. What is the impact on the participants?
So when you say impact as in?
At this point of time, sir, if I've been just share the thoughts, sir, probably the objective of the training program, that is you would be referring to the impact on the training objective. Had it been met or it is yet to be achieved? So practically.
Naturally, ma'am, when anybody talks about the impact is with reference to something, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
So impact, when it is a training session, the impact will always be assessed, keeping in view the objective of the training program.
Yeah.
Say, humor, wit, jokes.
Yeah.
That these things may be liked by participants in a short time. But question is that, does it contribute to the achievement of the program objective? चाहे उसका learning objective है या उसका जो objective है, is it helping that? If this humor and wit is helping achieving that objective, I think the other person should learn it.
Yes.
But question is that it is giving a sensual satisfaction, which normally happens. वो ताली बजेगा, clapping होगी, और those trainer who is a serious type of trainer who has worked very hard or who is trying to do justice with whatever is the training objective, it may not be liked by them, by the people that much. So in the short term, this happens, but in the long term, doesn't happen. Even you take the reaction feedback of that session from the participants. I trust the participants very much. So reaction training में आप देखेंगे कि जो serious trainer है, that person has got a higher rating than that person. I have seen many times. और अगर ये नहीं है, अगर ये ऐसा नहीं हो रहा है, so then that person who is, doing all these things, उनको feedback देना पड़ेगा कि भाई, is this style of working with the participants, is it helping achieving the objectives? और अगर वो ट्रेनर है तो जरूर इसको सोचेगा. हो सकता है कि using his or her defenses he will say कि yes करता है, but he will definitely get a feedback that this type of thing is not liked. तो मेरा तो ये है कि उसमें भी हम पार्टिसिपेंट्स को यूज करें. अगर पार्टिसिपेंट्स को हम यूटिलाइज कर सकते हैं by getting their feedback there itself, or otherwise you are in which position? You are their colleague or you are the boss of theirs, the two trainers?
No. So we have hired those trainers from one of the training agencies. So I was on the other side of the table. I am on the other side of the table.
Other side means organizer.
Organizer, yeah. Now, since I am the organizer, so the team members who came to me within first half saying, sir, the earlier session which you organized was much better than this session. Although I was a part of both the sessions, so I could make a difference that it's not that he is not covering the content or he is not explaining the things well. But yes, his style was something different from the first one. The first one was putting a lot of humor, a lot of jokes, a lot of, taking people along. This guy was more of a mature trainer and his style of delivery was different.
ऐसा है कि देखिए, first thing is that कि you have to introspect what is happening inside you. These two trainers have different styles. और एक का स्टाइल आपको सही लग रहा है, एक का स्टाइल आपको सही नहीं लग रहा है, तो पहली बात तो ये है कि आप अपने आप में इंट्रोस्पेक्ट करो कि भाई, why are you liking this one? Why are you not liking that one? Are you getting what I'm telling?
So well said, sir. In fact, the choice of the topic may also lead to the proper selection. If the topic is academy, maybe the mature trainer would be the best trainer. And if the topic is behavioral, sir, maybe the humorous will be the more appropriate trainer for that session. So each individual might.
The question is that I am a third person. Those two are the trainers who have different styles. And I am getting affected as an organizer or as a head of the institute or the program director of that program. So question is that the first thing is that I should ask myself that why I am liking that person and why I am not liking that person.
No, so liking was not from my side. So I was convinced that, his style, because I have dealt with many trainers. So I knew that his style is little mature trainer. And his delivery methodology is something different, so which is okay for me. And
matured अब मुझे थोड़ा सा confuse कर रहा है. A serious trainer may not be very mature trainer. And a trainer who is having lot of humor and all these things, it doesn't mean that his maturity level is low.
I might want to correct my statement, not the maturity level, but the style of delivery was something different. And the first trainer style of delivery was different. So
देखो ऐसा है बॉस, ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम first and foremost thing is that I must formulate the objective of my training program. Is it not?
Yeah.
Yeah, that is foremost. I have done some need assessment. On the basis of need assessment, I have identified some programs or formulated some programs. Now for each program, I have to very clearly identify the training objectives. And training objectives are of two types. All of you might be knowing. One is the terminal objective or behavioral objective. What is the terminal objective or behavioral objective? That what the participant will be able to do after completing this training program. I will repeat, terminal objectives, or they are also called behavioral objectives, that indicate that after attending this session or this training program, what the participant will be able to do. That is the terminal objective and this. And the second objective is known as learning objective. What the participant will learn or know after attending this training program. And for any session or any training program, the designer of the training program, sponsor of the training program, must be very clear that what are the objectives of this particular session or this particular training program. Some training programs may have predominantly behavioral objective or terminal objectives, and some training programs may have only learning objectives. अब जैसे हम क्वालिटी अवेयरनेस प्रोग्राम दे रहे हैं तो वहां पे क्या है, इट इज ओनली लर्निंग ऑब्जेक्टिव. या हम फिनांस फॉर नॉन फिनांस प्रोग्राम कर रहे हैं, it is primarily learning objective. Person should know what is a balance sheet, what is this statement, what is that statement. That's all. He is not going to make balance sheet or profit and loss account after the training program. If he is supposed to make balance sheet or training program and this and that after the training program, it means that is the terminal objective. So for any program, these two objectives are there, and we must be very clear what is the terminal objective and what is the learning objective of this program. Now, sessions are designed accordingly. Of your session under reference, what you are telling, two facilitators are doing in two ways, two trainers are doing in two ways. Now, I can see by reaction feedback or by my own assessment that the trainer who was using lot of jokes or humor and all these things, using a different style, has he been able to satisfy the program objectives? If the person has succeeded in satisfying the program objective, I am nobody to question his style. If he is not using any unethical type of thing. Now, the serious trainer or more mature trainer. If the more mature trainer also is able to satisfy the training objectives, I should not have any grudge with that person also. Now, for me, it's my choice whether I use this type of faculty or that type of faculty. And when, as a program director, I am choosing this faculty in comparison to this faculty, and both have delivered, similar results, then it will be my values which will affect the choice of this faculty. Anna?
Sure.
And yes, it's my values, my own values, my own attitudes. Values are much deeper than attitudes. So my own values will affect. If I value seriousness in learning, I will invite again the serious trainer. But if I value joviality and all these things in learning, I will value the other one. But question is that any one of these who is not able to satisfy the training objective, I will basically try to discourage that person. या तो उनको हम बुलाएंगे नहीं, या उनको हम, अगर वो फीडबैक लेने के मूड में है, तो I will give that person the feedback that don't be too serious in the classroom, try to be a bit more friendly or a bit more jovial with these persons, or telling that person that don't do this way. Some participants are not liking it. Try to be balanced in your approach or bring these things little. So feedback, अगर friendly feedback दे देते हैं तो हमारा काम चल जाएगा. लेकिन what I'm saying, the criteria should be accomplishment of the extent of accomplishment of the training objectives.
Sure, got it.
Yes, sir.
There's one query from my side, sir. As we say that the group discussion should be kept going, and the leadership skill in the individuals in the group might be the key factor that will help in going in. But then somehow we talk about that this independent perspective might not be that much also beneficial. So how to balance this kind of these two statements?
I could not understand your question. It is in this relation to this what my friend asked just now, or it is?
No. It is just a general, sir.
Please come out again. I will try to understand.
Yes, sir. In a group, in any group going, there are few individuals who might be having that leadership quality, that sharing their thoughts, the examples, and all those things. But same time, sir, you mentioned that interdependency is always a better one. But to keep the group dynamics, some might be infringing into that line of interdependency. It might be independent more, like. So it is very difficult to manage the leadership and the independent perspective, sir. The concern of being independent perspective in the group. So how should one balance? Like, if I am able to explain my thoughts, sir, to you, I want that.
One can balance, according to me, by playing different roles in the team.
Okay.
Right. I think when I'm coming to group role inventory.
Yes. So you give the questionnaire.
I think things will be clear. That. Still, if it is not clear, I will answer to it. Right.
Okay. Right. Sir.
So we can hold it. Now, this is, I will take only a few minutes. Are you getting these handouts, or I have to send it to you?
Sir, we got that questionnaire in our email inventory.
But other handouts you are not getting from them?
No, sir, not yet.
Okay. I will send you.
Right.
So basically, summing up what I have been talking, that the group's effectiveness depends on the group procedures, right? It's not the only thing which determines the effectiveness of the group. And there is another thing, that is the group structure. If a group has not been structured properly, the processes may not be very effective procedures. For example, बहुत crude example मैं दे रहा हूँ कि मान लो कि organization has identified and made a cross-functional teams for solving some problems or identifying some problems of the group. And if in that cross-functional team, the members have not been really chosen randomly, what is going to happen there? It will not be a heterogeneous group. And if it is not a heterogeneous group, then unconventional ideas will not come. So the process of the group may not be very healthy, may not be effective. So I have presented only one part of the group structure. Group structure has many other parts, the task also. The way the group has been given the task, that is also structured. The way group has been asked to sit the physical structure, the physical environment. All these things come under structure. And then comes the organizational context. What is the type of organization? For example, one organization is there. Uh, I was doing a program for top management of one organization many years ago, or basically they were selecting me as general manager, organization development. When I was very young, I was hardly 35-year-old at that time. So I had been selected after interview. But I told them that, can I have a meeting with your top management team, top and middle people? They told me, then why, you are a trainer also. Why don't you give us a one-day training? And then you will meet everybody. So that was a good opportunity. I gave them one-day training. They told interpersonal relations. Interpersonal relations, I was giving them 5OB. And when I was giving them 5OB, I asked the people their score. I told that 7-8 persons, you give me your scores, because I will explain, I will interpret based on real. And I found that nobody is giving that. Nobody gave their score. So I told, is there any reluctance, or you have not done your 5OB? They told me, we have done it. Then is there any reluctance in giving scores? Yes, there is a reluctance in giving scores. So what should I do? They told that you take some hypothetical scores and you explain to us. I did that. Hypothetical scores, I did. But I could understand the organization, that what type of the organization it is. So after this session, which went on well, I went to the number one of the organization. Number two was also sitting there, HR head. He told कि इनका ऑफर लेटर टाइप कर दो. और वहां पे हमसे पूछा कि साहब एक दिन का आपने ट्रेनिंग प्रोग्राम दिया, इससे हमारा प्रोडक्शन कितना बढ़ जाएगा इस महीने का. This was another shock. And I told कि I'm very sorry, आपका प्रोडक्शन इस महीने का घट भी सकता है. Because certain things of which people were not aware, they have now become aware of those things. So your production can this also. But all this thing told me, my God, in this organization, there is no culture of open discussions. जब learning time में इनको score देने में इतना reservation है, how they will work? And they brought me the offer letter, and there itself I returned it. Sorry, sir, OD is not going to work in your organization this way. I didn't join them. So this organizational context is very important. What type of organization it is. So organizational context, group structure, group process, and then group effectiveness. Yes, once we are doing a comprehensive OD in the organization, then we can't leave the way I left that group, that we have to work on all these things. And for that, the top management has to agree. So, yes, so this is very important. We should not think that only by understanding group procedures, organization will get good results. This is only a part of that. Yeah, any questions? Group role inventory I had planned for today, but I will not be able to do it. You people have some other session, other program after this?
Yes, sir. One more session in around 4 o'clock, sir.
10 मिनट आप दे सकते हैं क्या?
Yeah, sure, sir.
Okay. Oh, okay. ठीक, कैसे इसको शेयर करें? ग्रुप रोल, इन्वेंट्री, ये तो आपको दिखाई नहीं पड़ा होगा ना? You are not able to see this?
Slides, sir, we are seeing this only group effectiveness.
अच्छा,
3 criteria.
The earlier one. Group process ही है ये भी. Group role. Group member role. Yes. Are you able to see this?
Yes, sir. Now group member role.
Group member role, okay. So basically, I talked to you that task and maintenance roles, and there is also individual that one's own issues. How do we resolve? In short, I have described that also. Right now, we are going to focus on these two roles. कहाँ गया ये? नहीं जा रहा है. So this task role behavior, there are 4 types of things people do under this task role or task behavior. One is initiator. Second is information processor. Third is summarizer. And fourth one is evaluator. What does an initiator do? In the task, these people initiate the discussions. Whenever there is any sort of lull in the group, stagnation in the group stops, group is not able to put the ideas forward, at that time, these people bring out this behavior, that is the initiator. So this role helps to accomplish the tasks. The second role is information. Lot of information is flowing it inside the group. Lot of information is required. So people seek informations, give informations, process informations. That role is information processor. Third one is summarizer. I told earlier also that discussions are going on and some members may lose track of it. Some members may not be able to comprehend where are they. So if somebody summarizes whatever is happening, whatever has happened at different times inside the group, other people will be fresh on that and they will be again coming back on the track. And fourth one is the evaluator role, means how far the group has accomplished or is moving towards accomplishing the task. So these are the 4 types of task roles. And as I told earlier, it is not assigned to different people. Whosoever thinks that now I can do something for initiating, or I can process the informations, or I can summarize, or I can help in evaluating, that person plays that role. So these roles keep on revolving inside the members. The second type of role is maintenance role behavior, that is encourager. Means by some interventions, some member is encouraging the group. There are many times where some persons feel depressed, suppressed inside the group. So these type of people basically bring energy to the group or to the people by some of their interventions. B is harmonizer. Whenever tempers are running very high, whenever there is a very strong, conflict inside the members, which is making the, group to remain a good group, this harmonizer does something so that these sharp differences are harmonized and some sort of harmony prevails in the group. Compromiser is somewhat similar to harmonizer. Basically, when people start taking a stand in the group कि नहीं यही होना चाहिए, ये नहीं होना चाहिए, at that time some people play this type of role and somehow bring people to compromise. This is the compromiser role. If this compromise is not made, it will be very difficult for the group to move ahead. And this fourth role is gatekeeper or expedited. Basically, ये गेटकीपर दरवाजा खोलता है, बट किस चीज का दरवाजा खोलता है? कम्युनिकेशन का. दिस पर्सन इज गेटकीपर फॉर द कम्युनिकेशन. कम्युनिकेशन कहाँ हो रहा है? Is one person is speaking all the time? If this is happening, then the person who plays gatekeeper's role at that time, that person does something to stop that person and or divert the communication to somewhere else in some other channels. So this gatekeeper person basically is that everybody in the group comes out and shares his or her opinions. So these two roles are main roles on which I have given you the questionnaire. And this one is aggressor, blocker, recognition seeker. These are some of the individual roles individually people keep on, which also affect task and maintenance. But this particular instrument which I have given you is talking about these 4 types of behaviors. Here descriptions are there. I will send you this handout to all of you, maybe today itself. Yeah, here I'm coming. Yes, you have made your scores. And if your score on any of these 8 behaviors is up to 3, 0 to 3, low score of each. Low score means you are playing that role very little. You are not playing that role or playing that particular to a very less extent. 8 and 11 is the optimum score. Optimum means most effective scores. Means if you are having this 8 to 11 score on a particular dimension of the role out of the 8 roles, then you are functioning optimally as far as that rule is concerned. But if it is 12 to 16, it means you are overplaying a particular role. So when you are overplaying a particular role, either it is at the cost of some other roles of yours, or you are basically blocking somebody else. So this way you can see for yourself the possibility of your roles, that when you are going in a group, how do you play? Yes, I think there was a table somewhere. That table is not here. Yes. Yeah, this is a table. And this way you can tabulate your roles, task, role, behavior. I have sent this table also to you. So you are putting your scores here, a score of person 1, whatever is your score, 4 task roles, and these 4, sorry. So your roles you can write here. And if it is 0 to 3, any of the role, you can circle it. It means possibility is that you might not be playing that role adequately. If it is anything is 12 to 16, it means you are overdoing that role and it might be becoming dysfunctional. 4 to 7, ठीक है, moderately you are playing that, but what gives maximum effectiveness that has been found out as 8 to 11. So question is that this way you can try to regulate your roles in the group. That is the first thing, that as a facilitator or as a person, uh, how do you play your roles? And second thing is that when you are facilitating a group, you can also observe other persons, that what the other person is doing. Suppose some person is coming only at the time of summarizing, but on other occasions the person is absent, then you have to do something in your facilitation, that the person sometimes initiates, the person sometimes processes the information, the person sometimes evaluates. And same thing here in the maintenance role also, some persons are there who are always harmonizing only, means they are doing over, they are overworking on harmonizing but not doing other things. So naturally, the effectiveness of group will not be good, or that person as a member will not be there. So on both dimensions, first thing is that you, मेरा ये समझना है, कहना है कि everything we should must learn first as a facilitator. I have to see myself first. कि मेरा रिलेशनशिप में क्या होता है, डू आई डू मोर ऑन इंटरडिपेंडेंस और काउंटर डिपेंडेंस और डिपेंडेंसी और वट एवर इट इज, एंड अबाउट दिस थिंग्स ऑल्सो, that what is my nature, what is my, how I have learned, which one I am doing overdoing, which one I am underdoing. And if I am doing this, then I will be able to observe these things in the group wherever I am working. So this is the little and its explanation and all I will send to you through your emails. You can go through it. It is very simple way. Right? Anything you want? Anything remaining? Anything you'd like to ask me before you go?
Sir, I have a question.
Sure.
So facilitation and discussion leading, these are same or they are different?
Facilitation
Because
and
discussion leading, group discussion leading.
leading.
Yeah, because this is one of the methods that is, I mean, important to the direct trainer skills. But whatever we have learned in facilitation, I find that they are more and more similar. So is there any difference, or they are just two names for the same thing?
Yeah. Actually, leader, I think I have shared earlier that there are two ways of influencing people.
Yes, sir.
One is that by doing something that they willingly accept. That is called positive influence. The second is negative influence. What is negative influence? Making people agree unwillingly. Means I am using my power so that people agree to what I am telling. And you know the effects, that if somebody has agreed something willingly, means person has been convinced. And if somebody is agreeing because the person thinks that if I don't agree, the leader will be angry or leader will feel bad or I will be put at some disadvantage. So when I am a leader of the group, my tendency can be either using force or making people agree without force. If I adopt the second route, making people agree to things without applying force, then I'm a leader, and I'm also a facilitator. And if I am losing the sight of it, then I become only a leader who can use influence or who can use compliance. I'm not telling for a leader sometimes causing compliance also becomes necessary. But in general, what I am talking, that if I'm causing compliance, people will not buy my idea, people will not work wholeheartedly for implementation of that thing. But if people have been convinced, then without any sort of force, without any sort of incentive, I'm telling, or motivation, people will be working for implementation of those ideas. So if you ask my opinion, so I say that I will prefer to, even if my position is that of a leader, I will prefer to be a facilitator there. And that is one of the major uses of facilitation skills. And that's why we say that every leader should learn facilitation skills. Have I made it clear to some extent?
Uh, yes, sir, but
Hmm.
whatever, I mean, we do in the discussion leading, that is
Hmm.
also more or less similar to this, that in there also we don't impose our ideas on the group. There
Hmm.
also, I mean, we try to
So
uh,
then you are
the idea.
facilitating.
So
If you
that
are,
is why I am confused. Are they both same thing or they are two different methods? Of course, they are two different methods, but what is the difference exactly?
the two different methods means what? Which method?
Uh, for training,
Which two methods will you?
yes, discussion leading is one of the methods, and facilitation is also one of the
Uh,
methods, sir.
uh. I told that the moment my effort is that I should get a consensus decision or people's mind without applying any sort of my positional power or whatever I'm having,
Yes,
I'm
sir.
a leader and I'm a facilitator. These two roles basically merge.
Right, sir. Right, sir.
And to what extent I succeed or have succeeded, that I don't know. But definitely it is always my effort to be a facilitator, even if positionally I am a leader. And I was
Sir,
telling
is
you
it
that
possible, sir, that
manpower planning,
facilitation?
performance appraisal, and these type of things.
Yes, sir. Sir, is it like facilitation takes place even when there is
Difference was that my stuff have been largely accepted by the people, although they were very hard type of. Huh? Huh? There is. Oh,
sorry, sir, the
sorry, internet
voice
problem.
is not.
Just there was internet problem.
Yes, sir.
Yeah,
Sir,
right.
is
Can
it?
I?
I
Please
mean,
you repeat it once again.
Hello? Yeah.
Huh?
Can I make an attempt, sir?
I think she has to say something. Can we wait
yes,
for her
sir.
first?
Sir, is it like that facilitation takes place even otherwise also in
Hmm.
day-to-day behavior, whereas GD, group discussion leading, is in a particular situation?
Hmm.
I mean, facilitation is a bigger concept. Is that so, sir?
The thing I'm trying to say that if I am the leader for a group discussion,
Yes, sir.
effectiveness will be more if I facilitate it rather than leading it.
Right, sir.
Not agreed.
No,
At least,
agreed.
at
Agreed,
least
sir.
I should try to reach nearer to that. Because what is the benefit? If I'm facilitating, then
Mhm.
everybody will be able to share his or her opinions openly. New ideas will come, better feedback, better criticism will come, and then definitely the result of the discussion will be better. So I'm saying that these rules should come closer. If not, they are able to become one. Facilitating. Good leaders, knowingly or unknowingly, they are basically facilitating it. Sir, you were telling something. I blocked you.
Yeah, so I was actually somewhat agreeing to what she's saying, that while the facilitation is something a larger domain, while we are facilitating, there could be an option of group discussion facilitation also. So I think that facilitate anyways, facilitation happens through a trainer, but yes, GD might be a part of it. That's what I would say.
नहीं, GD का discussion क्या है? GD का what is the objective of that GD?
So for example, while you're facilitating, you might have a group discussion as a methodology, and you're facilitating that. So I that's another connotation how I take it as.
Because group discussion, perhaps when you are recruiting people and doing group discussion, that is a different thing. I'm not talking about that thing.
No, even in the training part. So when the training is happening, the group discussion might be one of the methodology which the trainer might adopt by giving them certain topics.
Yeah. Normally we adopt it. For example, क्या करते हैं हम लोग long term, even short term programs, हम लोग एक छोटा सा syndicate group बना देते हैं.
So I am also trying to relate
syndicate
that
group बना
particular
करके
part.
say if there are 30 people, we make say 5 groups, and we give them 15 minutes, half an hour time that you people discuss in your group, and bring out a solution for this problem or a consensus on this type of things. So when we are making the group and allowing them to discuss the way they want to discuss, the results may not be better. But if the group is discussing and somebody is facilitating their discussions, the output will be different.
Exactly. So that is what I am trying to say.
Yeah. So training and facilitation, ये तो hand in hand है, दोनों. Even when we are doing a regular training program, there also we have much scope to facilitate it. Is it not?
Yes.
And I am doing a training program with you right now, and you wanted to speak, and I told that perhaps ma'am want to speak something. Let her hear her first. So what is this? This is a type of facilitation. Right?
Yes, sir.
And when I have heard both of you, I think I'm more satisfied that yes, we are very much nearer the understanding. Yes, ma'am, you're telling something?
Yes, sir. I was agreeing to what you have just told me, sir.
That will make a difference if you are in a conventional trainer's role, and if you are in the role of a trainer, but you facilitate, your effectiveness will be definitely different. I will give you some example of this. I think today it will be very late for you people. I have no time constraints, but a number of times it has happened in the conventional training programs that there is a stumbling block, the group is not moving forward, or some people are not moving forward. Then what choice the trainer has at that time? People are refusing to hear you openly, or people are not refusing, but they are reluctant to hear you, and you are the trainer. Then what choices are left to you? Only to use your facilitation skills. And I will give you examples of this in the next session. Okay? Shall we? Anything else?
No, thank you.
All right.